2 because... So here's a little story before I start this video. I've just tried to film this, well I did, I just spent 10 minutes filming this intro and then realised that it was out of focus and recorded in slow-mo. So there's no salvaging that. We're just gonna try again. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chloe. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new here, then thanks for coming back. But if you are new here, then it'd be really nice if you consider clicking the subscribe button. That'd make me very happy. As you can probably tell from my channel name, I make videos about books and about reading. And today's video is going to be a different kind of video, one that I haven't really done before. And that is because it's a themed reading vlog. All of my vlogs before have been either just general reading vlogs or like connected to some kind of readathon. This time it's like genuinely a themed reading vlog and I'm really excited for it. So hopefully this is going to be part of the series. Like, I'm hoping that I'm going to be doing more videos sort of in this vein, and the sort of theme I'm going for is something that a lot of other people have done, but I just, you know, wanted to hop on the bandwagon. In this video, I have decided to read 3 of one of my favourite booktubers' favourite books. The booktuber who I have chosen, as you can also tell by the title, is Spoopyhol, who's also named Holly. People call her Spoops. You can call her, I guess, I would say whatever you want, but like I don't think that's how names work. I only just started watching Holly's videos. I think I started watching her channel when I actually created my channel, and I'm really annoyed that like I didn't know who she was beforehand, because she is super lovely. She just seems like a really good person, really nice person, really friendly, bubbly, everything that is good in the world. So I'm just going to quickly name the books that I decided to read in this vlog, because I do talk about them kind of in depth throughout this vlog. So the first book that I decided to go with was Heartstopper. This is the first volume. I have not read any of these, or like I hadn't read any of these beforehand, so obviously I was going to start with the first volume. The reason that I chose Heartstopper, aside from it being on the list of her favourite books that she sent to me, because I did ask her for a list in order to make sure I had the perfect curation of books, I asked her to send me a list of her favourite books, and this was on the list, and I thought it'd be perfect because she does have a book club called the Queer Pictures Book Club, I think it's called, and essentially it's just about queer graphic novels, so I thought this was perfect. The next book that I decided to go for was The Humans by Matt Haig. The reason that I chose this one is because I've heard a lot of good things about Matt Haig's writing. He's got a lot of books out there, both fiction and non-fiction. I think I'm probably going to focus more on the fiction side of things, but I definitely want to read more stuff by him, and there's a lot of the sort of synopses that I find really interesting, and they sound like a sort of different take on contemporary, because that's kind of how I feel his work is, but just with different elements from non-contemporary genres. Third and finally, last but definitely not least, the book that I personally think is the star of the show is Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. And the reason I went with this book is because Spoops herself has said this is probably her favourite book of all time. So of course I had to read it. It was also the book that actually inspired this video. When I heard her talk about this, I was like, I need to read it. So this has been sitting on my shelf, staring at me for the last couple of months, and finally I got to pick it up and read it. You will find out how I felt about it in the video. I thought if I was going to read this book, I might as well just add a couple of other books and make it a dedicated vlog. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see what I thought about these 3 books, then keep on watching. I'll see you later. Bye. Goodbye. Bye. My room is a mess. Do not worry about that. I'm aware of it, obviously, because I live here. This is weird. I haven't filmed for a while, so at the moment I'm feeling very, not awkward, but just a bit rusty, so bear with me. Also, not feeling very well. I've had a bit of a ear infection. It's kind of going away. I've been on antibiotics for the last couple of days. It's going away. Everything's looking up. It's going to be fine. However, that does mean that I just haven't felt like reading, felt like filming. I've also had exams and stuff like that, so you know. However, the reason that I'm filming this is because it's going to be the first little clip after the intro, obviously, which I'm going to film later. But I just wanted to come on to say that I'm going to be picking up the first book for this vlog. As I said, I haven't been feeling like filming, but I definitely wanted to get a clip. I haven't been feeling like filming, but I've really wanted to read this book for so long. I've got some reading sprints in a couple of hours that I'm hosting on my channel. So, and also, like, as I said, not been feeling like reading, so therefore I'm in like a tiny bit of a reading slump, and I thought that this book would help me a lot with it. Also, depending on how long these reading sprints go for, on how much we actually read as opposed to talking, I could potentially get this book done because it's a graphic novel. It's very super easy, it's super fluffy and lovely. You've probably already guessed which book I'm talking about, and that is obviously Heartstopper. This is the first volume. I've not read any of the Heartstopper books. I think that the 4th volume is now out, so there are four volumes out. They're supposed to be very, very nice. Obviously, the reason that I'm picking this up in this vlog is because it is one of Spoopyhol's favourite books ever. I will talk more about this later, just because I want to try and keep this actual clip quite short. So as I said, I'm going to pick this up and probably read it relatively quickly. It's currently Saturday, so if I don't finish it today, I'll definitely finish it tomorrow. And that was that. Hello. It's currently April the 11th. It's a Sunday. I don't know what else I want to say. Yesterday I had my live show. It was so much fun. Thank you to Hallie and Sarah and Leah for joining me. I had so much fun, and I'll definitely have you guys back on my channel at some point. I'm going to be aiming to do some live reading sprints every week on Saturday around about the same time that I did last time. So I will have some different guests on, we will have some different conversations. If you want to check out the live show that I did last night, be my guest, and you'll be able to find it on my channel. They always get automatically saved after the live show has ended. So yeah, definitely go and check that out. We had some really interesting conversations. I've definitely got some video ideas planned, which I also sort of talked about in the live, so I'm super excited for them. I don't know when I'm gonna get them done, but like recently my brain's just been like video. Like I've come up with quite a few different video ideas, which is crazy because when I started this channel I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I didn't want to go down the conventional path of just like, you know, reading the hyped books, which like is completely fine, and I'll definitely be reading hyped books. However, I wanted to find my niche and find something that I felt comfortable talking about, and something that I think I have a little bit of knowledge about, and that I can, you know, incorporate into my videos. However, this is obviously not a video about my future video ideas or about anything like that. So I'm just gonna like talk a little bit about my reading experience with Heartstopper, because I did manage to finish it last night. It is just, obviously it's a graphic novel, so it's like a super quick read. Whether you're someone that reads slower or quicker, I think that you could definitely get this done really quickly. Like, I think it took me about a sprint and a half, and we were sprinting for half an hour for the most part. So it took me about 45 minutes. I really enjoyed it. It's really cute. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I think that Spoops gave it 4. No, God. I think Spoops gave it 5, hence why it's like one of her favourites, and I can totally see why it's one of her favourites. It is so good, and I will definitely be picking up the next 3 volumes. Basically, the reason that I gave this 4 stars, I would say that for me, when it comes to graphic novels, 4 stars is pretty much the highest it's going to get. Unless I get more into graphic novels and comics and manga and stuff like that, I honestly don't think that this particular genre or format gives me enough personally for it to warrant a 5 stars. I think I'm very much a verbal person, so I like to read a lot of words as opposed to seeing pictures, but it's really nice to see pictures, so it's nice to have this to sort of break it up. Just a really fun read. If you're unaware, Heartstopper is about Nick and Charlie, who meet in secondary school, and basically they become friends, and Charlie is openly gay. Nick is unsure of his sexuality, but through becoming friends and sort of like hanging out with each other and learning more about each other, Nick sort of learns more about his own sexuality, and you know, stuff carries on from there. It's really cute and I really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to like pick up more stuff by Alice Oseman. She is one of the authors that I just really want to pick up more stuff by. I don't know if I was going to say anything else. I don't think I was. As I said, I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I don't think there's too much else to say about it, purely because it is a graphic novel. I really like the art style, really like the story. Probably my favourite graphic novel that I've read so far. I've only read a couple, but this one's definitely up there. So I finished this. I'm so happy that I've picked it up. This is the first graphic novel that I've bought like physically, because, or like the first graphic novel that I've actually paid money for, because otherwise I just borrow graphic novels from the library. And I'm happy that I did buy this physically, because I do feel like it's one of the graphic novels that I'll probably reread at some point just because of how cute it is. So let's move on. I was considering picking up Battle Royale, which obviously is another of the books that I have on my list for this video. However, it's quite a big book, and as I said, not been reading that much, so I also have like another book that's quite big as well that I'm trying to get through, so I want to read that first before I start Battle Royale. I kind of want to have a clean slate when I go into Battle Royale, so I don't have any other books that I'm reading at the same time, because I feel like it's the kind of book that I'm going to want to just read that and focus on that, and obviously I don't want anything else getting in my way. I also want to settle back into the routine of uni. We're just going into our second module, and it's my first anatomy module, which is just going to be like stress overload. There's anatomy is supposed to be one of the most heavy parts of medicine, purely because there's so much to learn. So Battle Royale is definitely going to come last, but also I feel like I'll be saving the best till last, because, or at least in like Spoopyhol's opinion, she really loves this book. I think there was an Instagram post that she did that basically was demoting The Shining to second place, because that was previously her favourite, and now Battle Royale is her favourite book of all time, I think. So that's definitely going to be a good place for it to come last, save the best till last. The book that I'm going to pick up, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up now or later, but at some point, and you will find out because obviously I will do a clip for it. The Humans by Matt Haig. So I had never heard of Matt Haig before he came out with the Midnight Library. That's the, like, honestly, that's the only book that I've ever heard people speaking about when it comes to Matt Haig. Or like the first one that I heard about, which is funny because it's his most recent, and I believe he's been publishing books since the early 2000s. He's got so much out, and they all have really interesting premises, so I definitely want to pick up more stuff by him. Let's talk about The Humans, because that's the book that I'm going to read. The Humans is essentially about an alien that takes the body of a human professor on Earth in Cambridge. He, as an alien, he doesn't understand human life, he doesn't understand the way that we choose to live our life and the way that we sort of interact in society, and like everything just feels alien to him, which is quite funny obviously because he's an alien, but he just really doesn't understand what's going on, trying to figure it out, and I think that's sort of what the main book is about. I feel like the whole idea of like an alien taking the form of a human is an interesting concept. I feel like you can come into a lot of discussions about things that are a lot more deep than just purely being like an alien story. I think, like, from what I've heard, I feel like Matt Haig does that. Like, he has contemporary stories that on the surface just seem like a fun story or like an interesting story, and then like there's something deeper there. Obviously I haven't read any of his stuff, so I can't really like say that that's definitely the case, but I feel like that is the case, and I'm really excited to start reading this. This was on the list, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be in this video, and it was the one that I think, because I'd heard a lot about Matt Haig recently because of the Midnight Library, it was one that I was immediately drawn to, and I just knew I had to get this one. So excited to pick this up at some point. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like leave now. Leave? I'm not gonna leave, I'm gonna stay here, but I think I'm gonna end this clip here to, you know, get some stuff done. Maybe I'll start reading this, maybe I won't, but you will see once I started reading this. So it's been a couple of days and I managed to finish The Humans by Matt Haig. I absolutely loved this book. This was so much fun. So, as I said before, like I'd expected, it comes across as just being a really nice, easy to read contemporary, but talks about so many deeper, really important things. I can definitely see why this is one of Spoop's favourite books ever, because it is just, it's absolutely amazing. I'll definitely be picking up some more stuff by Matt Haig. I think that this approach that he has, if it does transcend throughout all of his work, I feel like the approach he has to the way he writes contemporary is something that definitely resonates with me, and I really enjoy, because I am, not to say that people that just like easy to read contemporary, because sometimes I do like that, but for most of the part I like to read things that make me think, even if it's like I mean, especially with fiction. Obviously non-fiction sort of has to make you think, but with fiction you've got the option of whether to write something that's really easy to read and just enjoyable, or something that is easy to read, enjoyable, obviously depending on what genre it is, but also you have the choice to add something extra into it, which I think Matt Haig has definitely done, and which I've really, really enjoyed. Once again, definitely going to be picking up more stuff by him. I did not update you throughout the process of reading this, because I think I've come to realise that I enjoy sitting down and having a longer discussion about a book once I've finished it, as opposed to updating you throughout, because my stages of reading tend to be, I've just started this book, I don't know what I feel about it, and then depending on how it goes, either I'm enjoying it, I'm enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. Very rarely do I find that a book takes me from like really enjoying to really not liking, and unless there's that big a shift, then I don't think it's something worth updating you on. So I'm going to proceed in the sense that when I do these kind of vlogs, that I'll probably say I'm going to read this book, and then I will come back and I'll be like, I have just read this book. There's so many things that I think that this book does, and that I think Matt Haig has managed to do. I want to kind of start from the back with the acknowledgement slash note from the author that he wrote in the back, because reading this author's note is the thing that actually took it from being like a 4.5 to being a 5. Basically, he talks about how in 2000, so this book was published in 2013, I want to say, yeah. First published in 2013, however, he does say in the acknowledgements that he first came up with the idea in 2000 when he was suffering from a panic disorder, and he was, you know, having panic attacks. He couldn't leave the house, he couldn't go into a shop without having a panic attack, and it made him feel extremely alien from the rest of society and from other humans surrounding him. And just the fact that that's where it comes from, and that he was able to take that and put it into something creative. And it also says that like writing is one of the things that really got him out of it, and reading other people's works and stuff like that. So just the fact that that's where it all stems from really means something to me as a reader. Like, it really adds value to the book. It's extremely interesting and almost heartwarming that you can then read this and then be like, like have an understanding of maybe how people feel if they've got panic disorders, if they've got any other kind of mental health issues, mental health disorders, or just in general anyone that feels alienated, whether it's something that other people are doing to them making them feel alienated, or whether they just feel it themselves. I think everyone goes through a point in their life where they sort of feel alien to the human race, and to other people. I know that I have in the past. I know that I still do sometimes. So it was really nice to read that and then like realise where it's come from. One of the first things that I sort of picked up on is maybe not something that he did intentionally, but it's something that I like, it just sort of radiated through the book for me. In the beginning, the main character, who is an extraterrestrial being, an alien, he slash it slash they slash whatever the hell aliens are, came down, or didn't come down to Earth. Basically, this alien is taking over the body of a professor in Cambridge in order to save the human race, because the whole crux of the plot is that there's this theorem that's trying to be proven in order to advance human life in some kind, because like all these mathematical things, even though they may seem irrelevant to a lot of us, they do ultimately add to the knowledge of humans and can be a part of technological advancement and the such. This alien has a lot of knowledge, as do like this whole race. Basically the idea is that aliens are like super smart, which I think is always how I felt about extraterrestrial life, if there is anything out there, which there must be, because the chances of it just being us that are sort of like sentient beings is ridiculous. So there must be something out there, and I do believe that they are way too smart to want to interfere with us, because humans, not good. Basically this race of aliens that, or this planet that this alien has come from, they are all super smart. They are way advanced, both technologically but also brain-wise. Like they understand and they can cope with the technology that they use, whereas humans, if they manage to solve this theorem, their brains will not be able to keep up with the technology that would come out of that, is essentially. So he's trying to save the human race, blah 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 blah. The thing that this alien first talks about when it comes to Earth is basically, it names all the shit things that we do as humans, all the things that for one are really hard to understand if you come from somewhere else. Like if you are an outsider looking in, a lot of the things that we do are just weird. And we do a lot of bad things as well, and it doesn't make any sense why we do bad things. We put ourselves in positions that we don't want to be in, but we feel like we have to be in. So that was something really interesting that was mentioned. Also just in general, like a whole list of all the things, the bad things, the non-understandable things that we do as humans, which I'm just going to throw it out there. I am a very, very cynical person. Like I don't hate humans, but like I tend to focus on the negative things that humans have done. I think that once again, that's another human thing. We tend to be quite pessimistic. I know there's optimistic people out there, but like I think just in general, there's a lot of tendency to focus on the bad stuff, because that's the stuff that gets thrown in our faces. That's the stuff that we hear about. So I'm very pessimistic towards the human race, because the stuff that I hear the most about is all the bad things that happen. So while I don't generalize that to be like, oh, all humans are bad, I do think it does boggle my mind that of all the creatures in the world that could have been given the position that we're in, that we are the ones that happen to be here, and that this is like how we decide to use the power, the consciousness that we have as a species. But also it does make me wonder, if it was the other way around, if there was another species of animal, would they do exactly the same thing, or is it a human thing? I don't know. I'm philosophizing. Is that a word? I don't know. And that's kind of like the first half, I think, is like you seeing all of the weird and bad things that humans do. and like this alien sort of questioning why we do it and not understanding it. Eventually the alien sort of comes to terms with the fact that like, yes, these bad things exist, but realizes there's so much beautiful stuff that comes with being a human, and that these aliens can't appreciate because for them their life is built off of mathematics and physics and knowledge, and it is purely like an intellectual thing. Like, intelligence is key in their society. They don't have love, they don't depend upon each other in the same way that humans do, and they don't need the connection that we do. And when the aliens start to realise that, which this isn't much of a spoiler because I think that it's sort of like, it was the obvious way for a book like this to go, when the alien starts to realise that there are these good things like our love for each other and like the way that we can have connection, despite the fact that some people hate each other, there's also a lot of love in the world. Also, the dog is really cute, so we love dogs. So that was that. So basically, I haven't got it right here and I'm too lazy to walk over there, but the next book I'm going to be reading in this vlog, as I mentioned multiple times throughout this, is Battle Royale. It's a very different theme. It's a very different genre to what I've just been reading. So it'll be really interesting to go from something quite contemporary to going to something very dystopian. I will update you at some point. Let's try not to spill my coffee everywhere. So, a couple of days later, I thought I would come on here to tell you that I've finally finished Battle Royale by Koshin Takami. And when I say finally, I do not mean that this was a bad book. I do not mean that this was difficult to get through. I mean that I wish I had had more time to sit down and read it, because I could have honestly read it a lot quicker than I did. I think it ended up taking me 4 or 5 days, and like realistically, because of the pacing of this book and how good this book is, I probably could have read it in like 2 days. And I was thinking that I'd probably be able to read it in 2 to 3 days, but like, you know, life and stuff like that, uni gets in the way. But that is fine. I still really enjoyed it. It didn't take too much away. I've heard people say that if they read it over a longer period of time, that it sort of makes it less exciting in a way. I don't think it did for me. I think I still had the level of excitement. I could definitely tell that like if I had condensed my reading time down a bit, then I definitely would have like, it would have been a lot more thrilling, I think, because it is kind of, I mean, it's set over a short period of time, it's like high octane, you want it to sort of be quite a quick read, and like pacing wise it is really quick. I found it a super quick read, similar to books that are like similar to this one, so like The Hunger Games obviously. I don't know if I ever explained what Battle Royale is about. If you have not heard of Battle Royale, it's not a book about Fortnite. Battle Royale is essentially a translated book. It was originally written in Japanese, I believe, and about 20 something years later it was finally translated into English, and that's obviously the one that I've read because I can't read or write or speak Japanese. But yeah, translated fiction, and it's made me realise that I really need to pick up more translated fiction. I knew that like to begin with, but this has just really highlighted the fact that there's so much stuff that like if you just stick to Western sort of English literature, then you're going to miss out on so much, because I can tell just by reading Battle Royale that, especially within the dystopian genre, I can imagine there's a lot of really great dystopian translated fiction. There's definitely a couple that I've had my eye on that I want to get to at some point. But Battle Royale is essentially, like I mentioned before, similar to The Hunger Games, but it was written before The Hunger Games, so it is kind of like if either of them were going to be the original one, Battle Royale would be it. It's essentially just focused on this sort of Battle Royale sort of scenario where 42 school children, all in the same class, are put into an arena, and they don't know it beforehand. They just wake up and they're in this arena, and then they are told essentially that they have to kill each other and that only one person can survive. One thing that I noticed with Battle Royale is it's really interesting to see that it's a school class, so it's people who already know each other, and they are 15, so they've at least known each other for a couple of years. There's some kids that like new, like in any class you get some kids that are newer, some kids that have been there for a while and sort of, you know, have got friendships and everything. It's interesting to see how some of the friendships grow stronger because of the fact that they're put in the situation and they sort of try and help each other, and some other like friendships, relationships go the complete opposite way. There's definitely a good mixture of like characters appearing to be one thing and then being something completely different, or the other way around and it being like they're the same sort of thing as what you'd expect going into it. But even the people that you would expect would act a certain way have a reasoning behind it, which makes sense, and you can sort of see why they all act the way that they do, which I think was a really great choice on the author's part, because it adds to the reading experience, it adds to your understanding of the whole situation, and it takes it from being just like a story about kids killing each other to like a really moving story about how people's pasts can affect the way that they choose to act in certain situations like this. So obviously it is very thrilling. I feel like I want to at some point do a whole video dedicated to this book, because there's a lot of stuff I could say about it, and because this video is already long enough, I'd rather save the majority of my points for that video, because I don't want to talk for too long now in this video. But another thing that I just really enjoyed, just in general, the whole situation was very interesting because it felt completely unnatural, but at the same time it felt very natural, which is like a weird thing to say. But essentially it felt unnatural in the situation that like, or like in the fact that this situation isn't something that happens all the time. It does happen, like people are put against each other, whether it's in like the literal like slaughtering each other way, or if it's more in just like having to fight each other in order to get promotions, in order to, you know, do well on social media, or especially when it comes to celebrities and things like that, but that's a completely other topic. The reason that I say it felt kind of natural is that it's not made into this massive thing. People know that this battle royale thing exists. Like in this world, they know that it exists, or in this like country, they're aware of it, but they never get told much about it. So no one has the opportunity to prepare. It's not like a situation where some people who are more well off can sort of train themselves in case that they were put into the situation. It truly is, people don't have a clue like how it works. They just know that there's something and that one person wins, and it's every like half a year or something like that. I think it happens twice a year, and you just don't know like what's going on with it, so no one has the chance to really prepare themselves for it. And then suddenly you just see this bunch of kids that like are told that they have to kill each other, which also means that they've got natural relationships. They weren't like wary of each other to begin with, because they never thought that they would be in this situation, which is really interesting, because they have like real natural relationships going into it, and then you see how that gets affected. Also the fact that they're not like, you see the natural range of people who just naturally are stronger and who do sports, and then you've got to see the people that naturally are weaker, but it's not because they've been training for battle royale, it's purely because they like, that's just the way they are in their everyday life, which is really interesting. Also like the weapons I would consider very basic. It was literally just like knives and guns, and once again felt a lot more like realistic, because like in the real world when people kill each other, it's most likely going to be with a knife or a gun or a hammer or something like that. Basically, to summarise, to summarise, this book I think is my favourite book of this year so far. I can't remember how many books I've read, but like it's 40 something, and this is definitely up there. I think it must be my favourite. Obviously I don't know what's going to happen in like within the rest of the year. But I feel like this is going to be a contender for my favourite for the whole year, and I'm just extremely thankful that I heard about it, because I genuinely had not heard of Battle Royale before I heard Spoop talk about it, so I'm super happy that I did hear about it from her, and then I decided to pick it up because, oh, it's so good. And my final little thing to say is that anyone that likes dystopia and likes that, like, Battle Royale kind of situation, obviously this is called Battle Royale, so you're going to like it because of that, but it just is. I haven't read many books with this kind of situation, I'm not going to lie. I've only read The Hunger Games and then this. But even just comparing those two, this is like superior. This is like 100% superior to The Hunger Games. It is so good. Obviously, if you're looking for something that's a lot more YA, then The Hunger Games is good and everything. But I just really, really enjoyed this, and I highly recommend it to anyone. Even if you don't think that you're going to enjoy it, I just say pick it up. If you even have like just an inkling towards dystopia, pick this up. It's so good. It's so good. And I know that there's a manga that's been made specifically about one of the scenes in this called Angel's Border, which I will at some point in the future be picking up, because it'll be really interesting to see that scene sort of put into pictures. There's also a film that was made, so I think I'm going to end up watching the film at some point, because my dad said he would watch it as well, so one time when we're together, we'll watch that film. I watched the trailer for it and it made it look a lot scarier than, like, I didn't feel scared reading the book. It was definitely like I flinched a little bit at certain times, not necessarily because I was disgusted, but just because it was a bit like, wow, didn't see that coming sort of thing. Oh yeah, that's something I didn't mention, that the ending I loved. Like, I don't think he could have written a better ending. I genuinely think that the way this book ended was perfect. It wasn't too like neat and tied up in a bow. There were still bad things happening at the end. At the same time, it wasn't like really, really dark. It wasn't like completely depressing. Like, something happened that was slightly good, but like at the same time it wasn't all like, oh, they lived happily ever after, which I hate more than I do the depressing endings. Yeah, the ending was great. So definitely going to be watching the film, definitely going to be picking up the manga at some point, and I'm just super happy that I decided to pick this up. 100% recommend it. Favourite book of the year so far, and we're leaving this vlog on a good note, so thank you for watching this vlog. I'm just going to end it here. I can't even be bothered to finish like a proper like end situation thing. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm definitely going to be doing more vlogs in the future, especially themed vlogs, because I've got lots of ideas running around in my head, and I'll be hopefully creating them. And yeah, thank you for watching this, and I will see you in my next video.